Miriam and I are back again today. Hello, Miriam.
Hello.
Ah, this is always a good time when Miriam's in the room.
It is. I'm going to try and turn just a smidge
Sure.
because I can't see the comments because they're off to the side.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to put you where I can see your face and I see my name.
Yay! Hi, Ann.
Is Ann here?
Yeah, can you see her on your end over there on the computer?
No,
I
can't.
Try and refresh.
I made it bigger. Hi, Ann.
Can you see it now?
I can. I just had to make it huge.
Oh, you had to click on the see more?
Yeah, I had to click on the big one.
Okay. Oh, let me take that down. We're just fiddling here. Don't mind us. Okay. So, tonight's show, Age is Not a Factor. I am Barb Ireland, the creator and founder of Age is Not a Factor. And over here is my good friend, Miriam Vineyard. And she has been my life coach, for about a month now?
Going on 2.
On 2? Really? Wow. Time goes fast.
I know.
Hi, Kay. How are you?
Hi, Kay.
Yeah. So anyway, we and as today is a topic that we're both gonna take turns talking about, and it's the lies that we tell ourselves. And Miriam did a really good show in her group today, and it was fantastic. If you guys, you can go to her Facebook page, which is just the Vineyards of Hope, right?
It is.
Okay.
And then the group video, though, that's a paid group. That's not, they can't click on that. But I have lots of videos on my Facebook page. Treadmill Tuesday is really taking off right now.
Yeah.
So much fun.
It's fun. She really is on a treadmill.
I really am. And this week I wore a mud pack.
With curlers in her hair. Oh, it was hilarious.
It was fun.
It was. It was. That was, yeah. You did good. You did really good.
I have so much fun doing those.
Was your face really dry, though? Because it looked like it was getting, it's like you just wanted to itch it off your face?
It's supposed to dry.
Oh, okay.
So that mud pack is supposed to dry, and then it'll start cracking, and then you wash it off.
Right. But I mean,
No.
But was it getting itchy by the end of the broadcast? Like, I would have been like, oh, get this off my face.
No, I do them all the time, so it's not that I'm used to it. The only issue that I had was when I was up close with the camera, the light from the window was just glaring off that mask and blinding me. So I had to keep stepping farther and farther back.
You ladies have to go check it out, and that is on her Facebook page. And it is hilarious because I knew she was going to do something, but I had no idea it was going to be that. So it was funny.
I did pajamas and curlers and mud packs, and it was perfect.
Yes, it was. Okay, so tonight we are going to talk about the lies we tell ourselves. And so we're going to take turns, doing this. I'll put up the topic, and then we are going to talk about it. So our first one on the agenda for today is this one. Oops. I'm sorry, wrong one.
I don't know what you did.
Hey,
We
what
can do that
happened?
one.
Oh, I don't know, but somehow I took, yes, let's go ahead and do this one and I'll let you do the next one. And because I don't know, somehow I took it off. Okay, I'm too old to start now. Okay, that was my thinking. And I know we have Kay in the audience and she is 81. So she's already not let something stop her like that. But for me, it was hard. And I don't know if there's a lot of people out there that feel that way as well. I felt like I was getting too old to start something new. And what I mean by new was I got into a jewelry company, which is paparazzi. And yeah, I know, okay. Which is paparazzi, but there's a lot of young women in it. So I kind of felt out of place. And I'm sure that was, I know that was my own thinking, but, you just can't help but think, if I'm selling makeup, jewelry, skincare, are you too old to be selling those type of things? And I say no. I say
Never.
no.
Never. You're never too old to do something.
No. No. And I had thought about that and I struggled with that for a long time. And this is not a talk at you kind of show. We don't talk at you. We talk about the struggles we have gone through before. And well, at least I do. I have a lot of issues, as Miriam could tell you. No, I like to bring these kind of things out into the open because I'm sure there's other people who have thought about this. And if it helps in any way, then I'm happy to share my shameful thoughts. And that's what they are. We are shaming ourselves before we even attempt to do anything. So that's all I got for that. I kind of want to don't keep you guys here forever. So I'm going to hide that one. Any thoughts on that before we move on? Or anybody have any questions? Anything you want to say, Miriam?
Well, I just don't think that we ever just get too old for things. I think old is, yes, we age, but I think old is a state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that as we grow older, our older role models are our mothers and our grandmothers and
Mm-hmm.
our aunts. And I don't know about you guys, but have you ever heard somebody go, "Oh, I'm just so old, I can't do this and I can't do that"?
Yeah.
And so that kind of gets ingrained in us, and when we're
Mm-hmm.
little and our grandma says, "Oh, grandma's too old for that."
Mm-hmm.
That's what we know, that when we get to be that age, we immediately become too old for that. And I don't buy into that. I'm not too old for that. I mean,
Good.
I'm over 40, but um, it wasn't until I was over 40 that I said, you know what? I really want to have purple hair. So I really want my own business. So, I mean, and when I did it, I mean, I just dove right in, no clue what I was doing, and had to learn everything on my own. So I think that being old is in your mind. I think being mature and being wise and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. But I think we age, of course we age, everything ages, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that oldness is just really in our mind. I don't think it has anything to do with us. It's what we were socialized to believe. That's what we were taught by our role models when we were kids.
Right, right. And if you look back at maybe, well, I'm 58, so if you look back maybe even 25 years ago, you will see that the women weren't active. They were aging, and you know, I personally don't want to go out that way. I
Right.
want to be able to stay fresh in the brain, and I think though that some people you know, like when it comes to video and stuff like that, because video is so hot and because, you know, the algorithm and all that. I think a lot of them, like me, it took a lot of guts to get up here, I tell you. Because, you know, you think, you know, look at all these other girls, they're so young and pretty and they got these eyelashes going and, you know, it's just all these things.
Right. But I think a lot of that has to do less with being old and more with hearing our whole life. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. You can't teach an old person this. Older people can't get this. Older people can't do this. And so we, at some point, we have to decide, do we believe all of that bullspit, or
that word
believe what we know is true? Like, I know I can do these things, and I don't need a magazine. I don't need somebody on the internet to tell it to me. I know what I can do. I can still do cartwheels. You know why? Because my grandkids come over and they like to do that stuff. So that's what we do.
Oh, yeah, I saw that too. Did I spell that right?
Spell what right? I didn't see.
Bull spit.
Bull spit. Yep, that is right.
That's Miriam's favorite word, by the way. You're going to hear that a lot. Bull spit. I love that.
It is
I'm
one
sorry.
of my favorite words. I do like that one.
Okay, so
PG, so it's okay.
yes, you did. I mean, yeah, that's why I love it so much, because, you know, that's how you roll. All right, so we got Kay saying a lot down here. She is saying, I consider that I was actually rescued to do a new life redo. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that comes with maturity, not necessarily age-wise, but I think we get to a level of maturity where we're like, you know what, we've done all this other stuff, and I've lived my life so that I could raise my kids and be there for my grandkids, and I can kind of do all of this stuff. And then we finally just get to a point where we're like, it's all about me.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about that.
Oh, it's good, and then it feels weird. It's good, and then it feels weird because they're out of it. Well, I had my daughter, they moved in for a little while, but when they were both left, it was really tough, you know, because I didn't know what to do with my life. So let's go back. Let's see. We got Kay, who says, I have done more self-fulfilling things since I was 78, and that my whole life up to that point, other than I birthed my 2 sons.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's, you know, I think that's a great state of mind. I think we have to find that within us. At some point, we have to recognize that our lives become about more than our having babies, or about simply being married, or about simply going to work every day. And we start really searching and seeking out information about ourselves to build on. And
correct.
We look back at the things that we go, oh, I remember when I was 18 and I was going to take on the world and I was going to write 3 books, and I never did. And then all of a sudden we're, you know, in our 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s going, why didn't I write that book? It would have been a great book. And then we're at that place where we have to decide that we're not too old to write that book. Our story is still applicable across the board. It will benefit somebody.
Right. Right. I just like to bring all this out, you know, just because that I am aware that some people still feel this way, and it's not, you know, it's all 100% real, but you can get through it. You know, there are very strong-minded people out there, and then there's people who think about taking that leap, and then they just, baby steps, even if you have to. So yeah.
You know what's amazing about that?
Mm-hmm.
Is when I do my Treadmill Tuesday, or when you do your talk show, those steps, whether we realize it or not, have such a massive impact, especially because we do it on Facebook, and Facebook is so huge. Our little steps, they inspire thousands of people that couldn't take those steps before because they had that fear. And so then they see you doing it, and they see me doing it, and they see Ann and Kay doing it. I don't know if there's anybody else here, but they see us taking those little steps, and it helps start building that passion within them, and it really adds kindling to their fire. And then the next thing you know, they're taking their own step, and another 1,000 people are inspired by that step. Our steps matter, and stepping into something new and getting out of our comfort zone. I don't know, do you want to go into that?
Sure, that was on the agenda, was getting out of our comfort zone, getting out of our own way, getting out of our own heads. Right. Yeah, I guess you could put all those above.
And I think that when we take those steps and show that it's, first of all, it's okay to get out of our comfort zone, but second of all, that it's okay if you struggle a little bit, and we let people know we're struggling too. Nothing's perfect in my life. I'm sure nothing's perfect in anybody's life.
No.
But when we start stepping into things, other people can see that, and they can go, wow, they're doing it. Their life's not perfect, but they're still doing it.
Right.
And so by us finding our courage, we inspire thousands of people who didn't have courage 5 minutes before they seen us.
Exactly. And that's why this show is here. It is here to help you understand, you don't have to hide. You can take those steps as little by little as you want to. You don't have to go all bull spit out and say, I'm going to do this, because more than likely you're going to end up failing, and nobody wants to see that here. Because if you put too much on your plate, that's what's going to end up happening. So you kind of have to do the baby steps, do the little work here, do the little work there, and then, have it all come together.
Right. And I think people get confused because they think, oh, I took a step this big when I wanted to take a step this big. And what they have failed to understand, sorry, I'm shedding. What they fail to understand is even this step propels you forward. So even if it's a tiny step, you're not back where you were. And then it's another tiny step. And again, you've moved forward again. And those little steps really add up. And those first little steps, especially that very, very first one, I always say that is the hardest, scariest, bestest step. Because once you realize that you've taken that step, your courage starts to build. I mean, and it just builds and builds and builds upon yourself. And so your courage just, it's okay that you're scared, and it's okay that you're struggling, and it's okay that, you've got some issues with your self-talk and how you feel about things. That's all okay. However you feel, that's great. Feel it.
Right. I think though that a lot of people too sometimes, they'll go in and out of that. Like, someday they'll say, okay, I'm getting up, I'm taking on the world, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And the next day they're like me. They'll go, oh, I just watched myself and I can't do this.
Right.
I can't do this because look at me. I'm like, well, and really that's what I did, because I just tore myself apart. And I tell you these things because I don't want you to feel like you're the only one who does, feel this way.
I watch all of my videos after I post them. I watch every single one of them. And I used to watch and go, excuse me. I used to watch and think, oh, my hair was a mess, or my makeup wasn't perfect, or you could see this, you know, my pores or my wrinkles or whatever. And I don't even look at myself really anymore as though I'm watching myself. I watch my videos as though I'm watching a training video.
Right.
To see what was I talking about when I could feel the energy coming from that video.
Exactly.
What are some things that I'm drawing from what I said? What's the value I get from hearing myself? Because I watch them, but I always watch them as though I'm watching any other training video, and it doesn't matter who does the training video. Those are the things that I look at. I pay attention to the value and the information, but I'm always looking to see, okay, where's the energy in the room? Okay, oh, there it is. Nailed it. So that when I do a video, I can think about that, and I can, you know, kind of think about that moment and really start bringing that energy back out.
Right. And that's what I usually do too. Like I'll watch a lot of like my sales videos because I want to make sure I didn't miss somebody or whatever, and I'll go, oh my God, you tripped up on those words. Please don't beat yourself up. I mean, it's really okay. We all make mistakes. If you have to, do what I do sometimes. I don't even look. I won't even watch myself. You know, if I'm in one of those moods where I think, oh my God, look how fat your face is, or, you know, any of that stuff, I just won't look. I just say, Dave, I don't care. So, yeah, I think that's how you get out of your comfort zone. You get to a place in your head where you say, I don't care what anybody thinks.
Right. And I think the more of those little steps that we take, the more that has an impact on our personal life.
Yes.
I mean, because we personally start thinking, okay, I'm going to watch it as a training video. Okay, I'm going to watch it as this. Okay, I want to see, I'm going to watch this, but I'm really not listening to what's going on. I want to see where the comments started rolling in, or the little hearts start rolling in, or the, you know, if I can see where somebody comes from and says, hey, I'm sharing this because it's fantastic. I want to know what was going on at that moment, because those are really important moments. And sometimes when I see those moments, or I see it pop up when I'm watching the video, I will take a screenshot of that and go, okay, this is this moment. And then I will kind of put it over in my mind, and I can remember, okay, 2:43, that was my moment. And I celebrate all that stuff, even if I mess up. And trust me, when your favorite word is bull spit, it doesn't always come out like that. So you have to think about it sometimes, because there have been times where I have just thrown it all out there. And then, you can see the look on my face. And I'm just like, I'm rolling with it.
Okay, shall we go on to the next one? Okay, we're not ignoring you, hon. It's just a lot. I don't know where I stopped and what started.
She said, if we come from our heart, honestly, nothing can go awry. I agree for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm a really passionate person. And you know this from other groups and other videos that I've done, that the more passionate I get, the louder I get. And so, yes, I'm coming from my heart, and I'm coming from passion and just total love. But sometimes it just comes off like I'm screaming, and I'm not. I'm just really excited. So I have to kind of pay attention to that a little bit. Otherwise, it just look like I'm screaming and smiling.
As long as you're not doing this too at the same time.
Right. But I agree. I don't think that if you don't have a passion for something, and you can't find a place in your heart to come from some information, then that's not information for you to give.
Right. Right.
Because then it just comes out as that, hi, my name's Miriam, and I'm a life coach, and kind of want to help you out a little, maybe, I don't know. But sure, pay me.
No, that's not going to work.
When things come from your heart, people can tell. They
Right.
can tell when you're genuine and you're authentic. And for me, I just have to be really careful about how loud I get, because I got a big mouth. I'm not afraid of it. And sometimes it just runs.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, that's like when I really started to think this through about age and everything, it was like, I didn't want to come off as whining about it. I wanted to come off as, let's have a conversation about it, because, you know, there's so much about age out there. So, you know, that, and I think it's like changing the tapes in your head.
Right.
You know, especially it has a lot to do with what you grew up with too. Would you agree?
Right, right.
I mean,
no, I absolutely agree, but it's like, for me, I feel a little bit different about it, because I always think about the metaphors that we grew up with. And it's like, oh, if he doesn't do what you want, then you need to dump him. Well, why? Because one time in 5 years, he said, no, we're not doing that. No, this isn't great. And then there's other metaphors that are like, oh, give him everything you've got and he'll, you know, I think that we have to find that balance of the story that we grew up with and that we were told, the story that we lived, and the story that we're choosing to accept and believe now.
Right.
Like,
right.
I believe that when I was younger, my grandma was too old to do things. Because physically she had worked so hard that there were a lot of things she couldn't do.
Right.
It wasn't just because she'd hit an age. It was, my grandma worked hard. My grandpa worked hard. So there were a lot of things that they could do, but there were things I could do and they couldn't. And so I don't look at it as their age. I look at it as they were exhausted.
Well, yeah, because they worked really, really hard back in those days, you know, a lot harder than most, I think, of the younger generation don't really understand, because, you know, they worked on they had their own farms, or, you know, they worked in a factory, whatever, you know, factories can be horrible.
I think the difference in work from then and now is, then it was way more physical, and now way more mental and hitting deadlines. And I think that both types of work are really, really exhausting. But I do think that, you know, shoveling a ditch all day long, by the time you get home, the last thing you want to do is go for a walk or go ride a bike or go play tag with 7 grandkids. Really, what you want to do is go, I will read you a story, and that will be some fun times.
Right. Sit down on the couch next to me, honey. Yeah. You know,
and now we're at a place where we use so much of our mind that when the grandkids come over, we do want to go play. We want to shut down the technology and shut our brains off a little bit and get physical and go play. So there's still that balance. I just think it's a little bit shifted in how we look at things.
Right. Okay, let's see. What else is on my agenda? Oh, this is a good one. No one wants to hear your story. Yes, they do.
Everybody does.
It is a part of you. It is a part of why I started Age is Not a Factor. I have a story behind it. And it's good, it's bad, and it could be ugly. And if people can't handle that, then I don't know what to say. Because telling your story is a part of who you are, so you can connect with others who may have been gone through what you did or going through what you did in the past, or going through what you might be doing now. I mean, you know, telling your story is not a shameful thing. You know, one of these days I may tell my story. I don't know yet. But until now, I think telling your story is how you're going to connect with others. That's what I think about that.
Right. And I think we forget what social media is.
Mm-hmm.
It's our stories.
Yeah.
And if somebody says, "Oh, nobody wants to hear my story," look at what trends.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the topics that trend. Everybody wants to hear your story. Everybody wants to know what everybody's doing. That's why we don't have a group of 5 friends on Facebook. We have groups of 5,000 friends on Facebook.
Right. Right.
So I think that we forget that and go, oh, well, you know, and sometimes it's not even about nobody wants to hear my story. I think sometimes it's about we're worried that no one will hear our story, that we won't feel heard and we won't feel seen and we won't feel validated. And we forget that a lot of that comes from us personally.
Mm-hmm.
But if one person comments on your story, Barb, guess what? You were heard.
Right. Right.
So we forget how big social media is sometimes, but other times I think we get a little bit intimidated by how big it is. We don't take the celebration in that one comment that the one person heard us.
Right.
If one person hears my message and it impacts their life in a positive way, then I am successful at what I'm doing. And great if 1,000 people are have a positive impact from what I have to say. That's amazing. That would just be wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
But my plan every day, as far as my social media and my business and my things like that, is if one person hears me and it sparks something in them, or it has an impact in them, or anything like that, I have been extremely successful that day.
Right. Right. And that's what, you know, this whole platform is about. I want everybody's voice to be heard. So even I'm thinking next time, no, not next time, because I think I have Rachel on next time, but maybe sometime next week I will do a 4-spot where I give you a link. And if you want to just come up and chat, this is what we do. We just chat. It's
Right.
not, yeah, it's not a, you know, it's not a talk at you. We want to hear from you too.
Right.
You know, we want to hear what you have to say, because this is like a gathering. I like to look this as a gathering of women.
Right.
And if you,
that's why your that's why your page is so important.
mm-hmm.
Because it is important, and we don't have to just rely on the stories from our grandparents
Mm-hmm.
years and years ago, and we don't have to rely on the stories from our past years and years, and you know, it really is a forum so that everybody can talk about what they're going through and how what they went through yesterday and how they made it through that, and just kind of a connection. And that's what I love the most about your page, is that you just come on and you get some connection and you hang out and you visit and you talk about your stuff.
Well, exactly. And it's not formal, it's informal. There's no script. Although we had an agenda today, just so this old brain could keep on track. Because I'm not like that. I'm not there yet. So, and that's okay, because that's who I am. And eventually, you know what, I'll get there. But
Right.
that is the way that it is, and that's how it works. Until you keep doing it more and more and more. And you know, there's so many people out there that we can model from, that if you go look them up on YouTube, you know, they're speakers out there. that can just, they're so quick with their stuff. And, you know, they all started out. I'm not saying I want to be a speaker. That's not in the cards. I'm just saying that they are so quick with their stuff because they practice.
Right.
And they researched and they took everything in that people were saying and doing, and they molded it into their own. So that's why these shows are important. You know, so you know, you can touch someone, and that's what they do. I mean,
right.
That's what they do. That's what they do for a living. So let's see. Let's see if I can get it all up there. I believe we'll be, yeah. Yeah, enjoying our lives, the privilege of enjoying our lives. And that's what it is. You know, there was a time, and I'll be very honest, you know, when I didn't really care. I mean, you know, sitting around watching TV or sleeping was what I did. And now I'm not that way today. So I think everybody has to find their own way through life. And I think that even if you stumble, even if you have days where you don't want to get out of bed and there's something really bothering you, think it out. You know, talk it out with other people, because it's not going to be that way forever. So let me see what else we have on the agenda so we can lighten this mood up. I think I went through all of them already.
No, you still have I'm not good enough.
I'm not, that's it. Okay. I am not good enough. Well, let me tell you. Okay. So here's the deal. Don't watch other people. That's number one. If you are in some type of sales, I mean, watch them from a learning mindset, but don't watch what they look like, what they say, what their hair looks like, their cuteness, their non-cuteness. Don't do those kind of things. You'll become intimidated, especially if you've never done this before. And I can tell you this because it happened to me. And I think that it tends to happen to a lot of people, that they think they're not good enough because they've watched other people do, whether it be video, whether it be a business, whether it be that they're really popular on Facebook and you're sitting there wondering why you can't be popular. You know, don't do it. You are good enough. You know, you just have to keep putting that in your head. I am good enough. I am good enough. I can do, and I can be whatever I want to be. So I'll let Miriam, I know she's going to have a lot to say about this.
Not a lot.
No, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just know you.
Well, okay, so let me say this. I think that can I just tell them?
Yeah, you can tell them. I'm an open book.
So Barb and I was having a conversation the other day, and she was kind of down on herself. And so I asked her if somebody said something to her about a friend of hers, would she defend her friend? And of course, she was like, absolutely, I love my friends. And I said, okay, why aren't you defending yourself against yourself? It's okay to do that. We spend our whole lives with ourselves. It's absolutely okay to defend ourselves against ourselves, and to do it ferociously with passion and with meaning and with purpose, and say, okay, well, you know what? You're right. 6 years ago, I probably wasn't good enough. I settled for things, but today I got this. I've nailed this. I'm looking back at, like you said, I'm looking back at those little steps that I've taken over the time, and I'm 50 miles down the street. So I don't have to concern myself with what happened that long ago. And I think sometimes we get stuck in that, that story pattern, like you said, and we just let it play over and over and over. But if you're a good friend and the things that you offer in a friendship are loyalty, respect, and love, you have to decide whether or not you're going to give that to yourself.
And you know, that made a lot of sense because of the fact that you're right. You wouldn't let somebody call you and say, oh, you know, her face is too fat, and you know, she looks too old, and her weight's too much, or whatever. Right. You wouldn't stand for that 1 minute. I mean, if you're truly a friend. So, right. You know, I loved how you put that. That really was like, yeah, I wouldn't do that. So why would I let myself talk about myself like that? Because it only brings you down anyway, number one. And it stops you from doing what you need to do for yourself to make yourself feel better, number two. And number three is you won't do anything then. You'll stay stagnant. And then what happens over time, you wipe everything away. You wipe everything away that you ever thought you could do or not do, and then you just don't try anymore. Right. And you don't want to do that.
Right. And
you really don't.
I know that a lot of people go, oh, that's really, really hard. But I want you guys to recognize you already have the skills. Mm-hmm. Because if I called you, Barb, and I said, hey, Barb, our friend Lemon Ginger doesn't look good in her pants, and she's looking kind of chunky, or
her butt's big.
Other thing, you already have the skill to shut it down. You go, right. You know what? No, you don't talk about my friend Lemon Ginger like that. And you immediately go into defending her. And I guarantee you, if I called you and started insulting somebody that we knew, mm-hmm. or I called you and started insulting myself, mm-hmm. you would quickly, you say you can't, but you would quickly come up with a list of 25 or 30 things that was amazing about that person or amazing about me.
You betcha, because I've done that with other friends. I have a very close friend who called me, and I won't get into details, but she was really, really down. And I said, you know, I love you. And if you, you know, I can't say too much without it being, but you know, I said, you know, that would break my heart. And then I would list the things that I love about her, you know, and so, whew, yeah.
So we do that ourselves. We have those same skills.
Right.
It's just using it in a different way, which, yes, is a little bit out of our comfort zone. But the time to do that is before that starts playing over and over and over on that tape in our mind. We preemptively do it.
Right.
We plan our defense.
Yes.
So maybe you're not having a negative self-talk conversation right this minute. That's a great time to plan out even 3 amazing things about yourself, so that when that thought pops into your head, you can shut it down and you've got your list.
Right.
Right.
And I do believe that, you know, because we all have to start somewhere. And, you know, I myself, I'm a seeker of help, and I always will be to the day I can't get out of bed anymore. You know, I've always been a seeker of help whenever I thought that I needed it. So don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to come on here and ask. Anytime in the comments, you know, I mean, if I need to make a separate group and, you need help, there's people I know. There's people I know that'll help you.
Right.
And, it's better than being alone.
Right.
Is what I can say.
And honestly, in a planet full of billions of people, how alone are you? We're only as alone as we choose to be. And
Mm-hmm.
if we come up with a really great defense to begin with, that cuts our loneliness in half of whatever we thought that it was to begin with.
Right. Well, I mean, you have the people out there who, you will talk to, and they will shut you down immediately and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and then they'll start talking about their own needs. So there are people like that you get associated with, and so that could be kind of hard. So if you have people that you can talk with that will say to you, hey, would you, like you said, would you talk about your best friend that way?
Right.
And you can feel alone if you don't have that type of support.
Right.
Because
I think there's ways to do it. Is even with somebody that has a lot of negative self-talk,
mm-hmm.
think about how often you have I'm just going to grab something. You have your cell phone in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how often you have your cell phone in your hand. If you will just take a post-it and post it on that cell phone, every time you look at your cell phone, you're going to have to look at that defense of how to shut down that negative self-talk.
Right.
Ways to combat it. I think holding it in for somebody with a lot of negative self-talk, I think having it as easily accessible as their cell phone is amazing. Other people might just need to have it in their pocket and pull it out once or twice a day. I mean, it really is, you kind of balance yourself out
mm-hmm.
and decide what you need the absolute most, how often you need to see those great things about yourself. And, make your list like you were talking about somebody that you really care about. Make
Right.
sure that you're being the same kind of loyal and honest and trustworthy friend to yourself that you are to somebody else.
Right. And when I was in therapy, I was in for about, I was with her for about 4.5, close to 5 years. And breaking up with her was really hard to do. It's like the song, because she was the greatest, but I had to. I felt like I was wasting her time, because
Right.
the place that I went to, their services helped women of certain things. I'm not going to get into that right now, but sometime I will. But right now, that's whole nother topic. But anyway, so their time is valuable because it is given to you. You give an hour, they give an hour, right? So I got to the point where I didn't feel like we really had anything else to say other than, she had given me the tools that I needed, to get through my day every day. But that was one of her things was, sticky notes everywhere. It was like sticky notes. I have sticky notes all over my refrigerator. I have like little sayings all over the place. I even put like quotes in the drawer in all these things. So they work. I can tell you that they work. Are you going to have those days where the self-doubt comes in and, you get to be my age and you think, yeah, I got what, maybe 20 on me to go? But, you never know how long you're going to stay alive. I mean, even in your younger years. But when you start to hit that age up there, you can't tell me it doesn't creep in your mind.
Right. And I just kind of, when I think about things like that, I'm like, okay, this is what I want. And I'm not the only things that I've ever said, as far as when my life will be over is, Lord, just let me go in either in my sleep or doing something that is so fun, I won't even notice it. The only thing I've ever asked for is that it not be some long drawn out traumatic event. I just want to, when it's my time, I just want him to go, okay, it's time.
Right. Well, and you know, I never thought about it either until I hit, even in my early 50s, it didn't really, it didn't really bother me. And for those that it don't bother out there, I commend you, because that is an awesome mindset. I don't have it all the time. And I'm going to be frank with you, when I hit 58, you know, it started to teeter. It started to teeter a little bit for me. So, you know, you can't, I think about it. You know, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who do think about it, but am I going to let it stop me from doing what I need to do? Oh, no, not ever. So just a little something.
Right. And I think that we get to a point where we realize that that is what's coming, and no, we won't have horrible days thinking about that all day long. And no, every day is not just going to be some riding off into a rainbow sunset, you know, giddy up on my unicorn. Some days are going to suck. That's just the reality of life. Everybody has just a crap day, and they're going to suck and this, that, and the other thing. And that's fine. It really is. It's okay to have those bad days and to have those down times. But I think when we get a little bit older, we start to recognize a little bit more the things that are really, really important to us.
Yeah.
And so I've just kind of shifted my focus from, okay, eventually I know I'm going to pass away, to, well, until I do, I'm going to live my life the whatever way I want to live my life.
Best way you can. Yeah.
And every day for me, even if I'm having a crap day, I'm going to tootle around my backyard on my unicorn and have fun at it.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm having a down day, great. I'm going to have a fun down day because I'm going to get me a big bowl of popcorn and some ice cream, and I'm going to binge watch Netflix or something. So instead of making it, I just feel like crap day, I'm going to make it my lazy day, and I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm just going to let those feelings come, and I'm not going to have to feel like I have to wallow in them.
Right. Not wallow that. Yeah. I mean,
and it's okay to have a bad day.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I know that we all have that support system that's like, oh, you're having a bad day, let me cheer you up. And sometimes we don't want cheer up. Sometimes we just want space. And I think that we need to respect the other people and respect ourselves, and just be honest about that and go, you know what, today I just want everybody to leave me alone. I'm going to eat my popcorn dipped in my ice cream, because that's how I like it. And I'm going to binge watch Longmire on Netflix.
On his Lifetime. My husband's always like, oh yeah, the woman always saves the day. I said, hey, you know, it's Lifetime. What do you want me to say? So
right.
But yeah, you know, it's, you know, age is not a factor. Like, you know, I've said plenty of times, it's not about wallowing and all that stuff. It's just trying to get through our years that get tough. I mean, if it doesn't get tough for you, then great. Come on here and tell us how it works for you. Right. But, you know, if it gets tough for you some days, I don't mean that you get up every morning thinking about it. But if it gets tough for you some days, come here. And we can just come here and we can talk about it. Because I don't think that there's too many places on the internet, at least not that I have found. If you research it, like I did last night, which, we got to talk about this one. But I will just say this. There was a lot of grimness out there.
Right. And you know what?
It was sad. Let me just say that. It was like, okay, so maybe you shouldn't get your retirement, get all this stuff in order, have a family member. I'm looking at it like, what? Really? And then, Scott, well, you need to get a coloscopy, or you need to, all this stuff.
Right. All the things that you need to do, but stop and think about all the things that we have to do when we're younger.
Yeah, true.
The first time as women we have to go see a gynecologist.
Yeah.
That was mortifying.
Well, true.
When I go in there, I'm like, sorry, I didn't shave my legs. Like, I'm not trying to impress you. But
Mary, what am I to do with you?
I did work with a gal who done some grief counseling.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, you know what? A lot of people, when they get to an age where they are really starting to think about those kinds of things, the best thing to do is to just get it all planned out on paper, and then you don't have to worry about it because it's taken care of.
That's true. I mean, I understood that part. I was looking for some, maybe some funny quotes. I think I put one on here because I do like to look at this from a funny, positive way.
Right.
That's, be your own beautiful, like it says. But I also like to discuss, the things that might bother some. And so, like I said, it wasn't really, it wasn't a nice feeling. I have to say that, because some of the things that I found through my research, just looking for positive things to say and, things like that, and jokes, funny jokes, there was a lot of that in between it all. So.
And I think as we get older, we get a much better sense of humor anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Because we really find, or I don't know about everybody else, but I have found that there are humor in a lot of areas. I don't care that I'm a grandma and that I'm, older age-wise. I just don't care about that. A good fart joke is funny.
Speaking of which, my granddaughter, she is hilarious. I think she hangs around the guys too much, because I swear to God, she should have been born a boy. Because you know how boys are. That's all it is. It's just fart jokes.
That's it. I really feel like my sense of humor is that of a adolescent boy.
I know. I'm the same way too. And my husband is just, he's totally like that. He's always, from day one since I met him, he had a joke every day because of where he worked at. And they just always kidded around a lot. And he always, Art, I got a joke for you. And every single day, I got a joke for you. I got a joke for you. So, and he's still that way today. He came home the other day. He said, Barb, we had a couple of thugs following us yesterday. And I said, today? And I said, what are you talking about? Because he went to pick up my daughter. She had to go get some tires on her car. And I said, what are you talking about? You had thugs behind you. So he shows me this picture, and there's two older men. I mean, they're older. They're all gray, and they're on motorcycles. I was like, oh my God, you're so dirty.
I love it.
And this is what I get.
I would love to see all older men dress in their, great suits, so that they were all just walking around like they were mafia kingpins.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of humor to be had, and we should laugh at things more. And I think as we get older, we find the humor in a lot more things. We don't have to be so up in arms and so offended, or, as I'm scrolling through Facebook, I used to, if I come across a friend's post that it kind of ticked me off, I would say something and go, what the hell is wrong with you? And now as I'm scrolling, I realize there's, a lot of political posts from either side. I don't even care. I just scroll right like I'm not bothered by it anymore. And I think that that's come with age and wisdom and maturity. So I think that as we get older, it's good to have these conversations, and we can talk from a place of love and respect and humor without, all of the nastiness that
I personally do not do well.
Not just any one generation. I mean, I just think that that's it is what it is. And so I think as we get older and we get more mature, that we don't come from those places anymore. We just we just tell it like it is, and we really just kind of stop shoveling the bull spit and all of that, and just be ourselves. I think we get a lot more comfortable with ourselves.
And I think when I was younger, I would give lots of people chances. And now it's like one and done, buddy. One and done. Because as the older I get and the more stronger I get with my mind, I just won't put up with it. If you took me off and you do it repeatedly or whatever, maybe sometimes it won't even take that many times. But you're gone. I'm not even gonna waste my time. Just like the post you talk about. I never post about religion, and I never post about politics. Because everybody has their own take on it.
And I think that comes from just a place of gaining wisdom. That, and I think we know where we can and cannot have those conversations, which is what I like about Age is Not a Factor, is we can have those conversations without the name calling or the getting so offended about things. I mean, there are things that you should not say because they're mean, but I think having a place where you can have an intellectual conversation, a fun conversation, a deep conversation, especially at our age, is just a phenomenal place to be.
So thank you. I'm glad. And that's what I had envisioned for this. And I really don't, without your help, honestly, I'm not sure that I would have taken it this far. So I'm really grateful for that. I'm happy to be on here. I love being on here. I love talking with people and, seeing what their thoughts are. I mean, this is a thought show. So I think that's kind of it, though. Are you getting really hot over there? I can see the sun on your face.
Yeah, I'm moving a little.
I know. Keep seeing you going.
I move a little here and there. And it's in my eye, and then I get that blinded in my one eye, so I probably have like this weird twitchy going on in this eye because I get blinded and then it starts twitching, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll just move over this way a little bit.
All righty.
Thank you so much for inviting me to come back on and be a guest. I always have so much fun when we get together, and when it's just you and I having a conversation. We have a lot of fun and a lot of laughs and that kind of stuff. So thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome, and thank you for being there for me and coming on here and talking. And I'm glad everybody else came today. Even if you just stop by for a few minutes, you can just put on hashtag replay if you want. If you want to leave a comment on something, on a topic that you would like to see discussed here, just please go ahead and do that. Or you can PM me if you'd like to be a guest on here and talk about no religion, no politics. That's all.
I think we can talk about both of them generally.
No.
We just had a whole conversation about that, just so you know.
Yeah, I know, but no.
Because you can have conversations about, when and where to have conversations.
Well, that's true.
Right.
But I just...
You
I
know,
don't like to talk about it. I don't like to talk about it, period, because I feel like people, even in a setting like this, people still get offended. So to me, I just rather stay out of it.
I'm voting for me in the next election. That's all. I'm just voting for me. Miriam for queen.
There you go. There you go.
I don't want to be president of the country. I want to be queen of the universe. That's all I care about.
Heck, I can get my 4-year-old granddaughter to run this country better. Okay. I said it. I should have said it.
Okay.
All right.
All
righty.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I will see you later.
I will talk to you soon, hon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so thank you everyone for watching this show. I'm so happy you came. And we shall see you next week. I believe we have Rachel Dawn Johnson coming on.
Yay!
She is the she has got an amazing story. So I'm pretty sure we did talk about it. So that should be this Wednesday. I think we're going to do it at 1 though, because my room gets so hot, and she can attest to her room too when it comes to, we have to close our doors, keep all the animals and whatnot out of here. So anyway, before I keep going on, so just plan for next week for Rachel Dawn Johnson to be here, and everybody have a good night. Bye.